superhero to you? What is it about a superhero that makes them special? What quality about them you think makes them special? And again, you can say that you can unmute yourself to stay, or you can say it in the chat box.
Miss, they have like a special skill. Miss
Yeah.
Vega?
Yeah.
Miss, they have a special skill and they love to help people. So that's
Yeah.
a quality of them.
Exactly. So they usually have some sort of special skill, and they like to help people, right? Jazara is saying bravery. Certainly, we definitely see our superheroes being brave. Adrian talks about them being powerful. And Kai saying they do what is right in any situation, along with having that special power. So yeah, that's what makes our superheroes really special. So you all know any real life superheroes? Is there anybody ever met somebody in their life that they say, this person is a superhero? Because they have those qualities of bravery, powerful, loyal. Oh, Kai says his dad is a superhero. Tell us why you think so, Kai. Heroes take risks. That is very true, Kai, right? So heroes take risks. And so I'm glad you see your dad in that light as a superhero. And just to have you as a risk. But certainly I would say as a parent, having kids is a big responsibility. But it also brings a lot of joy to your parents' hearts. But yes, making sure that you're there to provide and you're able to take care of your family is something that takes a lot of bravery and loyalty and risks to be able to do. So good. I'm glad you understand that. So when you think about kindness, and we kind of talked about kindness just now, Deepat talked about that. What do you think kindness is? Anybody? What is kindness? How would you describe it in your own words?
Miss, being kind to people, like caring and sharing.
Right. So caring and sharing for sure. That's one way. Thanks, Laurelie. Respect for others. I heard somebody say something else.
Thoughtful.
Yes, being thoughtful. Kai is saying the ability to show love and care for others honestly. Certainly, those are all being considerate. Yes, you all know very well what is kindness. So I just wanted to make sure you're saying it in your own words, right? When we talk about kindness, what we mean. But when we do this being friendly, of course, Nikolai, and when we're being kind to others, right? Are we expecting them to do something for us in return? No, right? Think about superhero. Imagine if a superhero rescued you from disaster, right? And then said, no, now you have to come and rescue me. The next time you have to come rescue me. Anybody ever saw that in a superhero show? That a superhero asks you to rescue them, ask the people he rescues to rescue them back, right? Or they want money for reward. No, you don't see that from superheroes, right? So when we're doing acts of kindness, we're being considerate, we're being friendly, we're respecting others, we're showing our love and care, but without expecting something in return. So why do you think I say kindness is a superpower? Why do you think I'm saying that? And do you all believe that? Or do you all think I'm just talking shippiness? Now you all probably think I'm talking chauvinist. Nobody's saying anything. It's okay. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if that's what you think. All right. Kai is saying he believes it's a superpower.
Yes, Miss, I believe.
You believe so too. Good. All right. Good. I'm glad at least I have two people here. I don't know what the others believe, but maybe at the end of this class, you might believe something. And yes, kindness is an ability, and heroes do have special abilities. We're going to talk about that a little bit, about whether it takes some special ability or not. But I think each of us has the power to make somebody feel good or to make somebody feel bad, right? So all those things you all talked about, being considerate, being friendly, showing love and care, that's going to make somebody feel good. But in the same way that we can do those things, we can be mean, we can bully people, we can say unkind things, we can, gossip about them, right? So at the same time, we can make somebody feel bad. And so kindness is certainly an ability to make other people feel good. So I think each of us as human beings, right, we have it in our hearts to be kind. We're like programmed to be kind. It's part of who we are. We want to connect with other people, and it makes us feel good. And that's why we want to do it. And so I want to talk about, what does it take to be kind, right? So I don't think kindness takes a lot of time. Do you all think kindness takes a lot of time?
No, miss.
So give me some examples of ways that you could be kind that doesn't take a lot of time. That's easy and quick, that you can show somebody kindness. Either unmute yourself or type it in the chat box.
So Auntie Kaylan, I do apologize. So we came back to the breakout session.
Okay.
So it just automatically came.
Oh, that's the same challenge they were having. So hold on 1 second. Dwayne,
Yes.
you're on, right?
I will get you guys back in and I'll set that timer for 40 minutes. All right, is that good?
All right.
Yes.
So that you all still heard the question, so I could still see you all in the chat box, my teens. What are some examples of things that you can do to be kind that's not going to take a lot of time? Helping out in the house, Kai says. I love that one. I hope you do that as well, Kai. So Zara, exactly, smile at somebody. It's so simple. Not going to take any time. It's not even going to take any effort. And we could smile. Kai. So I hope, anyway, we'll talk about this at the end, the challenge I'm going to give to you all. Kirsten, saying assisting a classmate if they need help. Certainly, that's an easy way to help somebody. That doesn't have to take a lot of time. Not being negative, of course, being in a positive state of mind certainly helps. And saying thank you, that's really very key. Because, it's a simple thing, saying please and thank you. And I'm sure you all heard your parents talk about that over and over and over again. But it's something that we have to remember, because it's an easy way of showing kindness. Sharing, being extra polite, sharing with somebody in need. All right, so you'll have some great examples, and somebody's drawing all over the screen. All right, thanks for removing that. All right, I'm gonna put up some other ideas, right? So saying good morning to somebody, sending a thank you card to someone is one way that doesn't take a lot of time. Telling a funny joke or corny joke to somebody who's having a bad day, right? So now we're spending so much time at home, and maybe your parents or your siblings or your neighbors might be a little stressed out. So you might find some jokes to tell them. Letting somebody go ahead of you in the line. So if you're waiting in line to buy something, or if you're waiting in line for something, you can let somebody go ahead of you. That always makes somebody's day. And holding the door open for somebody. So if you're going in a door and there's somebody coming behind you, just holding the door open. So it's really small things that you could do. So kindness, we agree, kindness does not take a lot of time. Yes? All right. Let's see. What about kindness? Does it cost a lot of money? None of those things that you all talked about before actually cost money. Now, it's nice to be able to buy gifts for people and to maybe take them on take them to a movie or something like that. but it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. So if you do have money, you can do that, but there are many ways you can be kind without spending money. And I'll give you some examples. Like your teachers, how do you think that they will react if they get a nice handwritten note from you? How is that going to make them feel?
Happy.
Very happy, very, very happy, right? Teaching somebody something new to them. Lauralee, of course, offering a hug, right? Right now is a little bit hard, right? With social distancing, we can't hug as much, and I'm a big hugger. So that's a little bit hard. But when we can, certainly the people in our families, we can make sure that we're hugging them. Kristen is saying here, my teacher loved when we made an e-card on Teachers Day. Exactly, right? And I'm sure that didn't take you a lot of time or a lot of money, right? Oh yes, Lauralee, we can do the elbow for now, right? Helping a younger sibling. How many people have younger siblings? Only seeing one hand. Let me see. What? Only one? With the younger siblings, but you can help younger sibling or a younger cousin, or Kai saying him as well. All right. So a younger sibling, a younger cousin. Yes, sometimes it is hard with our younger siblings, but we can just spend a little bit of time helping them, right? Maybe it's helping your friend who needs some help with schoolwork, right? Spending a little time with them on the phone or on Zoom, and helping them work through some questions that are hard for them, and standing up for somebody who is being teased or bullied, right? This is something that's kind of hard to do sometimes. But if you see somebody says something mean about somebody, I know you all have phones and all of that. If you see somebody saying something mean or in a chat group or something like that, being able to stand up for them, right, is a really brave act of kindness. And that's where that bravery coming back into why it's a superpower comes in. All right. Now, we talked about special skills earlier, right? And I know we talked about the superheroes having those special skills, right? They have these superpowers. But do you think kindness, for us to be kind, do you all need any special skills for that?
No, miss.
No. Adrian, you think so?
Nope, you don't need any.
No, we don't need any special skills at all. And Lauralee, this is a great one, picking up litter. I actually have that on one of my slides as well. So that's a good one. Jabari, patience for sure. So patience is a skill. And yeah, that's a good one, Jabari, because we do need a little bit of patience to be kind, especially when, as we were talking about, sometimes it's hard with a younger sibling, or sometimes we're helping somebody with something and they don't understand what we're trying to tell them, or we may want to do something else and somebody wants us to help them with chores around the house or something like that. So it does take a little bit of patience. In some circumstances, you do need to be extremely brave, right? So I agree. There are, right, for example, that bullying situation. That's one where it does require some bravery, because it's not easy to stand up to a bully because you don't want to be bullied either. So that's a good point, Kristen. And Kayla is talking about patience as well. And Lauralee, that's another great example, making donations to people who are in need, right? Taking a little bit out of your allowance, right? Or if you get money for your birthday or something to be able to help others, that's a good one. So we're going to talk about those special skills in a little while. So I'm glad you all brought that up, both the bravery and the patience. But other than that, we don't need any other special skills. And so this is one that I like, holding up positive signs, right? So, I mean, it's hard to do now that we're home, but so just so people, see a positive sign and it makes them smile. Spend some time cleaning up somewhere in your neighborhood, right? Lauralee was talking about litter. spending some time with some elderly people in your family, you know, your grandparents, maybe you have some older aunts or uncles as well. Because often we might be so busy with our lives that we don't have enough time to spend with them. And, you know, they have some amazing stories to tell of things that happened in their lives when they were younger. I was speaking to my old aunt, she's 90 years old, about what it was like, you know, to live during the war, you know, where, you know, when she didn't travel by plane, they traveled by boats, you know, so many things changed in the world since she was younger. Sharing your gift with others. I love this as well, because each of you have your own special gifts, and maybe type in the chat box what your special gift is. Some of you are great artists. Some of you are good at writing stories. Some of you are good at dance. Some of you are good at cooking. So what are some of your special gifts? Jazaris, music. Renee, sports. Laurelie is making peace. Well, Laurelie, that's a good example of one that doesn't require special skills, making peace with those who hurt you. Kirsten has a special skill with writing, Adrian in hockey. So those are all amazing gifts and skills. Laurelie is dancing, hockey, music, and sports, multi-talented Jabari. I love it. And you know, when we got all these skills from God, God gave us all these skills. It's not just for us to stay at home and do these things, stay at home and dance by ourselves. It's for us to be able to share our skills with the world, right? Because I'm sure you all enjoy hearing your favorite music from your favorite artist and watching some people perform, they're dancing and they're singing, and, you know, watching people play their sports. So we enjoy watching it as well. And so your special skills, other people will benefit and enjoy. And that's a huge act of kindness to be able to share with others. You know, and one person is sending, and I'm going to call the names, but one person is sending me a little private message here saying talking a lot is a special skill that they have. And I would actually say, it's funny, I was actually talking to a friend of mine recently who used to get in trouble in school for talking all the time. I'm sure if it's not you, I'm sure you know somebody in your class, right? Like that, right? Who gets in trouble for talking all the time. But now that person is a motivational speaker and they get paid to talk, right? So that is their special skill. So just the fact that people tell you you talk too much doesn't mean that that's not a skill that's going to be great, you know, that's going to actually lead to your career in the future. So just saying, you might disturb the class for now and you have to try not to disturb the class too much, but it could be a good skill as well, right? Laurelie, sharing your outgoing personality. I love that, right? So everything that's about us, our personality, all these gifts, talents, and skills we have, one way to show kindness is to be able to share that with others, right? And we talked about hugging earlier, so that's another one we talked about. And also, as a lot of these examples we went through earlier, kindness doesn't have to be a big thing, right? Sometimes people feel like I have to go and, you know, I have to save the world like a superhero does, or I have to, you know, raise a lot of money to be able to feed people in a homeless shelter or something like that. And it doesn't have to be something big like that. It can be really small things, right? So paying for someone's lunch. Exactly. So that's something, even if it's not even for paying for their whole lunch and just buying them a snack, right? That's something small. Volunteering at a pet shelter, that takes some of your time, but it's something that's really huge because the animals need that connection with us too. So here's some other small ones. Complimenting someone, right? This is an easy one and one that you can do every single day. Compliment somebody in your family, compliment the food, how good it tastes, compliment, their talents, compliment the teacher for the way that she conducted the class, compliment your friends for how their hair looks today, or the t-shirt that they have on, or whatever it is, right? Compliment your neighbor about their garden and their flowers, how they're growing. There are many ways in which you can kind of support and compliment other people, right? We talked about this one earlier, doing a chores around the house. And I hope everybody on this call has chores that they have to do. But it's so nice when you're able to do something that somebody didn't ask you to do, right? Just because it's something to do and you're able to support your parents in that way, that is something that is really, really nice to do. Helping somebody carry some heavy bags, or somebody went out to the grocery and they have all these things to bring in the house. So just volunteering to help them with that. Sharing your snack with somebody who may be hungry, who may not have money to buy something to eat, and giving something up that, you have something else at home that you can eat, for example. And this is another good one, right? You all are all growing. So going through your closet and organizing the clothes that no longer fit you, the clothes that you don't wear, and finding somebody that you could donate that to, because that's, there's many people who will be so happy to get those clothes that, you might not like the style anymore, or you might never have liked it, or maybe it doesn't fit you anymore. There are lots of people who would be able to benefit from that. And Laurelie is another great example, being a good listener. I think that often we want to talk, right? We want to share our story, and we don't do such a good job of listening to what other people say, even our friends sometimes, but certainly in our family, sometimes with our parents, sometimes with our siblings. And so, yes, being a good listener is a great way to show that your kindness, right? So who do you think deserves kindness? Who deserves kindness? Everyone, Kirsten is saying, everyone. Is there anybody who doesn't deserve kindness? No, Laurie is saying no. All right. Yeah, so I agree with you all. I don't think anybody does not deserve kindness. Everybody deserves kindness. Israel is saying if you get an iPhone 11 Pro Max, you could give it to someone. Certainly, right? Maybe me, you could give it to me. I'll take it. Right? So everybody deserves kindness. And how do you feel after you've done something kind? How does it make you feel? Good. It makes you feel good, Laurelie. Makes you feel proud, Zara. Kristen feels good about herself. Jabari feels funny. You'll have to explain that to me, Jabari. Good, happy, good, proud. Jabari, tell me what you mean by funny.
I just feel weird after that.
Why you feel weird? Why do you think you feel weird?
Like if I help somebody, I not go and see them again. So I just feel like I helped them and I don't get to help them anymore.
Okay. But there are other people. There are other people that you might get to help another time. So yeah, so sometimes we're helping a stranger or somebody that we may not see again. Sometimes it's somebody in our family, but it may be somebody else. And yeah, so it might feel a little strange, right? I did this thing for somebody and I can't help them again. So I understand that. Jahim is saying, makes me feel fulfilled. Yes, Emily, makes me feel fulfilled. Yeah, so doing acts of kindness makes us feel good. So it's a win-win, right? It's good for them because we're helping them, but it's good for us. And it's good for us because it actually releases a hormone in your body that makes you feel good. Does anybody know, everybody ever heard about a hormone it's called a feel-good hormone? Something that makes you feel good is released in your body. It's called dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical in your body that actually makes you feel good. And when you do acts of kindness for people, Kirsten is saying she knows it. When you do acts of kindness for people, your body actually produces dopamine. So you feel good. Not only do you feel good, but it's actually good for your health, right? It sounds strange, but it boosts your immunity, which means you're less likely to get sick, right? Because of that dopamine and all the good chemicals in your body. It actually helps you, yes, the endorphins, right? It actually helps you with your schoolwork, your academic performance, right? Because you do better in your schoolwork when you're in a happy, positive state of mind. So it's good for your schoolwork, it's good for your immunity. And so overall, it's good, right? Because you feel good, the other person feels good. So it's awesome, right? So all of these great examples we had here of ways that we can be kind, that doesn't cost a lot of money, that doesn't take a lot of time, that doesn't have to be big, right? Would you all say that kindness is easy? I'm seeing Jazara shaking her head. Kai is saying, not at all. No, miss. Yeah, kindness is not always easy. Kayla is saying, no. Tell me why. Tell me why. You're the ones who think it's not always easy. Tell me why. Unmute yourself. Let me hear some voices other than my voice in this space. Jabari saying some people don't want your help. That's true.
Miss, and like sometimes people don't appreciate what you do.
Right, true.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't appreciate it. So it's easy to do, but then we feel like we shouldn't do it. We're not sure if to do it because are they going to be appreciative of it? Okay. What else? Israel is saying sometimes it could be as hugging someone. It depends on what I'm doing. Let me hear that, Kirsten. Let me hear about that one. It depends on what I'm doing. Explain that one to me.
Well, kindness is fairly easy, but it depends on what circumstance I'm in. Like, giving someone a compliment is like extremely easy, but doing something harder, like donating, you have to get it all together and take time. So that may be harder.
True, true. What about if y'all are doing something that you love, right? Say you're watching Netflix or playing Roblox or whatever it is you do in your free time, right? At that point, when you're doing something for you, right? Do you feel to go and do something kind for somebody else? To stop what you're doing and go and be kind?
Well, miss, if I play in an online game, I go stop and drop some loot from a stranger online and let them get the free kill.
I was thinking that also. You can actually, yeah.
Okay, so good. So there's still ways that you can, with your online community, you can still be kind online. All right, I like that one. All right, what about if you're in a bad mood? So say you got your screen time taken away, right? And because you didn't do your homework or something and your time was taken away and now you don't get to play your online games, right? And so you're not in the best of moods. Is it easy for you to be kind then?
No, miss.
Not at all.
A bit harder.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder when we're not in such a good mood. And I think the other thing, when we're not in a good mood, we also don't notice when somebody else needs help, right? We can notice when somebody needs help when we're in a good positive place. But when we're in a bad mood, we don't often notice it. Kirsten is saying, I will never not do my homework. That's a false scenario. I'm glad to hear that, Kirsten. I was definitely not like you when I was in school. That was a real scenario for me. Jazara is saying mood, right? Yeah, it would be hard to miss. I always do my work. Oh, I love you all are so good. You all are great students. You all are great students. So I would say sometimes it's not, I think in a way, it's always, are you all ever rude? Like say something rude to somebody, say something mean,
Yes,
slam
miss.
the door when you get vexed, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I think, personally, I'm glad you all said that. At least I know it's not just me, okay? Because sometimes that happens to me too, right? Sometimes the words come out wrong and stuff like that. And I think that in a way, it's easier to be rude than it is to be kind. And sometimes it takes a little bit of work for us to be consciously and try to be kind, despite how we are feeling, to try to be kind, to have empathy and to think of what somebody else needs and to put ourselves in their shoes. So that's where I feel that sometimes kindness can be a little bit difficult. Definitely when we're in those moods, right? When we are being sassy and rude and talking, giving back chat, right? Then it's a little bit harder for us to be in that kind frame of mind, right? But just to let you know that everybody goes through those moods, right? We all experience it. And I think definitely as part of becoming a teenager and this teenage years, that's part for the course. But you can work on practicing and doing better with those emotions by practicing something called mindfulness, right? So does anybody ever here did anything in Clubhouse with me before on mindfulness?
Yes, miss.
Yes, okay, so Arlie did. Anybody else? All right. Okay, so mindfulness, so let me just explain for everybody else who's never done it before. Mindfulness is really about us being in the present moment, right? Just being right here. I know we are right here. Obviously, we're not living in the past. We're not living in the future. We are present, but sometimes our mind is not present, right? Sometimes our mind is stuck in the past where we got mad with our sibling or we are vexed with our parents, and so something happened an hour ago, 2 hours ago, or maybe yesterday, and we're still mad about it now, right? Even though it's not happening now. And then sometimes our mind likes to go far into the future and we start to get worried or anxious. Oh gosh, they say school starting back in January, so we start to worry about that. And that's not happening now, it's happening in the future. So mindfulness helps us to practice being in the present moment, but it helps us to also be calm. So those days where we're not in a good mood or we get angry or upset or frustrated or disappointed or hurt, right? It helps us to calm down those big emotions. It helps us to just be more positive. And again, when we're more positive, it's easier for us to be kind to others. And it helps us to notice other people's emotions. And then we say, okay, you know what, mommy really looks like she needs a hug. And you could naturally go and give her a hug because you realize that she's having a hard day, right? And so there are different ways of being mindful. So I like to teach you all a little mindfulness practice right now. And we're going to use what we call mindful breathing. Right? So wherever you are, I want you to make sure you're sitting up tall, right? We're not slouching over or leaning back too much, right? We have a nice tall spine because we want to focus on our breath. So we want our lungs to be able to fill up with oxygen, right? Making sure that we're relaxed. So making sure your shoulders are not up here, but they're nice and relaxed. And if you're where you are, you're comfortable, you can close your eyes or you can just look down so you're not distracted by the video or anything else around you. And just try and see if you can get your body nice and still and quiet. So just noticing, just getting your body still. And before we begin with our breathing, I want you to just notice the sounds around you. Just pay attention. Maybe there's sounds in the room. Maybe there's sounds outside the room. So just noticing what sounds you hear. And then I want you to just take one hand and you can place it on your chest, or you can place it on your tummy, or you could use both hands, one hand on your chest, one hand on your tummy. And I want you to just notice your breath. So you should feel your hand moving with each breath. As you breathe in, your hand should be moving out as your chest or your tummy expands. And as you exhale, it should fall gently back in. So just noticing your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. So just noticing that sensation. And as I said, our minds can be very busy. So your mind might be trying to get distracted right now. And that's okay. That's normal. That's what your mind does. But just bring your awareness and your focus back on your hands and just feeling your breath moving in and out of your body. In and out. Right, you can release your hands now if you're on your chest or your tummy, and just begin to notice the sounds around you again. And you can open your eyes and come back into this class. And I want to see in the chat box, what did you notice from just practicing that really short mindfulness practice of noticing your breath? What did you notice? Was it hard? Was it easy? Did you feel any different afterwards? Kayla said she felt calm. Adrian couldn't think of anything. Kirsten thought it was easy. Good. Sometimes it's not so easy sitting still. We're accustomed moving. Laurelie also thought it was easy. Cesar, it was hard, and I after you feel kind of weird, right? Yeah, so that's normal because we're not accustomed getting quiet and still and just noticing our breathing. So it takes a little while to get accustomed. Kirsten, I didn't like not moving my chair, but otherwise good. Yeah, so you see how easy naturally we move a lot. Oh, Laurelie even heard herself breathing. Yeah, we're breathing all the time, huh? Right? But we don't pay attention to our own breathing because our body is doing it automatically. Thank God, right? We don't have to think about it. So this small practice of mindfulness, right? When we practice it regularly, right? And there are different ways of practicing mindfulness as well. But when you practice it regularly, it does make you feel calm. It does calm those big emotions. It helps you to deal with stress if you're ever feeling stressed about an exam or test or the coronavirus, right? It helps you to feel nice and calm. And because you're in a more calm place, then it's easier for you to be kind with others. All right? So thank you for allowing me to show you that practice. So I have a little 1-minute exercise for you to do, and I hope you have a pen or paper handy, right? So since we talked about kindness, does not take a lot of time and it does not take a lot of money, right? I want you to choose one of these prompts, and I'm going to time you. I'm going to give you 1 minute and choose one of these prompts, and I want you to write a note for anybody. It could be somebody in your family, it could be a teacher, it could be, you know, a sibling, a friend. And I want you to write a kindness note, right? Any questions? Y'all can see the prompts on the screen. All right, so your 1 minute starts now. So you can choose any one. All right, are you all finished? Anybody's finished? Raise your hand if you're finished.
No, man.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit more time. Doesn't have to be a long note, you know. There's a short, little sweet, a short and sweet note. All right, who's finished? If you're finished, just say done in the chat box. All right. Good. Most everybody's done, right? So you have to make sure that you give that note to the person. If you don't see them, right, you can text them, you can email them, right? You can call them and tell them on the phone, right? But I want you all to make sure you share that kindness. Does anybody want to read their note for me? Who wants to read their notes? I would love to hear somebody's notes. No volunteers? All the talkers in this group. Nobody wants to share their one note? Come on. One person is going to share. Who's it going to be?
I'll share my note.
All right, great.
I wrote it to my husband because I don't think I say thank you to him enough. I appreciate it when you see that I'm tired and you allow me to rest.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Thanks for sharing. So you see that I'm sure that didn't took you less than a minute to write that note, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to have a huge ripple effect, right, when you share that with your husband. So thank you for sharing, right? All right. So tomorrow, as Auntie Pat said, is World Kindness Day, right? So I am challenging each and every one of you, even though it's just one day, November 13th, I am going to challenge you to do 1 month of kindness, right? Starting from tomorrow. We had all those great examples of things that don't cost any time, don't cost any money, don't have to be big, right? I'm gonna encourage you to just choose one act of kindness to do every single day for 1 month, beginning tomorrow on World Kindness Day. So who's in for the challenge? Type in the chat box. All right, Kristen is in, Ren is in, love it. Kayla is in, Nanyamka is in, Laurel's in, I love it. Who else? Who else? I'm doing it too, by the way. I'm not just giving you all the challenge. I'm in as well. Right, Emily's in, Adrian, lovely, good, I'm glad, right? And I want you to pay attention, notice how you feel when you're doing these acts of kindness, but also notice how the other person feels, right? Notice how they feel. Notice the smile on their faces, notice the change in their voice, because kindness is really powerful. As I said, this is your superpower. So let me just summarize, because I know the rest, everybody's going to be coming back in here just now. But kindness is a superpower because it has a ripple effect. when you are kind to somebody, they feel so good that they become kind to somebody else, and then they become kind to somebody else. And so it has a huge ripple effect. So you could just do that one act of kindness for the next 30 days, and you are affecting and touching many, many people, some that you don't even know, because you don't know how the person that you're being kind to, how that they are going to be kind to others, right? So it has a huge ripple effect. It's not a weakness. Sometimes people say kindness is a weakness, right? Because, not cool people aren't kind, but kindness is actually a strength. As we said, it's not always easy to be kind, especially when we're not happy, when we're not in a good mood, right? When we have to stand up to a bully, when it requires that bravery, right? So kindness is a strength. And the more you practice being kind, the easier it's going to be. Right? As I said before, kindness is a win-win. You're helping yourself as well as you're helping the other person, right? So it's a beautiful win-win scenario for both people and all the other people in the world that they help because of your kindness. All right. So I hope you remember all of the different examples. And if you will run out of ideas over the 30 days, right, you can look online. There are plenty different websites that will give you ideas of things that you could do for acts of kindness. You can start tonight, of course, but make sure you do it tomorrow. Share with your friends, let them know it's World Kindness Day so that they can also take part and be kind to other people as well.